de nuestro país. Vengan, escuchen todas las historias, historias de amor, love, aventuras, adventures, and all the bad things and good things that happen to the people of our place. Anyway, bienvenidos, welcome to Voces de Nuestro País. What's the English part?
Voices of our area.
No, the Northern Rio Grande.
Sorry, the Voices of the Northern Rio Grande is
Okay,
the
that's the
project.
That's the English part. And today, I'm very happy to, I asked two brothers that I've known forever, I think, Billy and John Archuleta. Johnny goes by the professional name as Johnny A, doing music all over. Billy used to have a band. Man, he played some of the best Dire Straits, Salsa to Swing I've ever. I still remember at the Kiowa.
Oh, yeah.
Doing that.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago, guys.
That is.
At the Kiowa, he was in there doing the guitar and singing. Anyway, but these two guys go back for music forever, and two good friends of mine. So I want to welcome them and thank them for being here today. And so, Billy, here, John there. Why don't we start off with a song, and then you can do introductions of who you aren't.
Who we're not.
I
got that one covered.
You want to hand me a chart?
You want to do one of yours? Or? Let's do changes. Two, three.
By the way, Billy's playing a Pimentel guitar.
One of the few steel strings thing.
Yeah, amazing.
2, 3, 4. It's been raining for such a long time. Man, we're on that road again. Few more nights on one long flight. Never thought about this back then. Raining for such a long time. Man, we're on that road again. We can't back down, no, we can't slow down, 'cause we got all the trouble to learn. I'm just riding along, singing my songs. Things never seem to change. Don't feel you can stay, but you can't run away. Yet some things, they never seem the same. Now the sun is shining, shining so bright on me. Gave me strength and opened my eyes, hoping maybe we would see. So rise up like the sunshine, let me remind you again. You can't back down, no you can't slow down, if you got yourself in trouble tonight. Now the sun is shining, shining so bright on me. Gave me strength and opened my eyes, hoping maybe I would see. So rise up like the sunshine, let me remind you again. You can't back down, no, you can't slow down, if you got yourself in troubles to mend. I'm just riding along, singing my songs. Things never seem to change. Don't feel you can stay, but you can't run away. Yet some things, they never seem the same. Yeah, some things, they never seem the same. Yes, some things they never seem the same.
Beautiful.
Thank you, guys. That's one of my first original songs from this album called Changes. I think there was even cassettes being built back then. That's kind of how far that one goes back. Called Changes, but it's an original.
I remember the song, but it's so much better to hear it now live and the two brothers doing it.
Thank
Really
you.
massive,
Thank you,
man,
Mike.
really massive.
Thank you.
So, Taco Billy, you've been doing music all your life.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about yourself here.
Okay. I started playing publicly, or professionally, I guess you would say, when I was 15. Actually started singing when I was 4. My uncles recorded me singing, if you remember the old Bobby Vinton tune, I'm Just a Lonely Boy. They recorded me singing that, and then they recorded me singing Tie Me Kangaroo Down. And that was the springboard, I guess. And then when I was 15, well, before I reached that age, I used to go and watch John, because he played before I did. So, and I would go and watch him and watch what chords he was playing. Go home and do whatever I saw, what I think I saw. So eventually I started playing, and then played like that for about 4 years, and never knew technically what I was playing. I knew I was playing, but I didn't know what I was playing. So I decided to buy a chord book, and took me about 2 years to catch up with myself there. And then played in several bands. John and I actually played together for a while with a group called Third Wheel. And before that I played with Archie and Ernie Marquez from Mezcal, and Julian Lucero, and Martin Trujillo. So they're all still playing and doing well and making really good music. And then I kind of took a break. And at one point I told my wife, I'm going to quit playing for a while. I'm getting kind of burned out. And she said, okay. So I did. And about 6 weeks later, she said, I think you better start playing again, because you're really cranky. So I did, and then I had played with the Taos Boogie Band for a while. Had a trio, and did that for quite a while with John Vargas and Luis Maestas, and was able to have people sit in. I think his name was Bill or Bob Conti. Anyway, he was the lead guitar player for Tower Power, sat in with us one night and blew us away. And then through the years I found that if people come up and tell you how good they are at playing, usually you lie. And if they come up and they very humbly say, can I play with you? I won't promise I won't mess you up. Then they're usually pretty good. But it's, and did that for a while. And then I played with the Time Machine for a few years. And then went solo. And I've been playing solo for quite a few years now. I started playing at the Camel Rock Casino, and that was supposed to be 2 nights a week for a month, and then we try it out. So I did that, and turned into a 2.5-year gig going 4 nights a week. So it was a nice gig. I got to meet some really interesting people. I was playing there when they started having concerts, so I met some of the musicians that came, and I have a guitar, an older guitar that's got autographs on it. And I have the Guess Who, War, the Turtles, Steve Young, who wrote Seven Bridges Road, Marty Stewart, Arlo Guthrie, Willie Nelson.
Wow.
They're all on the face of the guitar. And so I put that away. Figure that's going to be my retirement someday. And now I've been playing solo since, and John and I play together. We've been playing together since we were kids, really. We learned to harmonize really well together.
Yeah, you could hear it. This last song, the harmonies were just like, wow.
And we learned to follow each other. And
how to tolerate each other.
yeah, that's the big one, yeah.
John, talk a little bit about you.
Oh, well, John started into the music scene when I was in high school. I don't know how many people know what the term hooky means. When you play hooky, you skip school. Well, we were out in a rural area, Taos, in the rural area, so we were the champs of playing hooky. And we would get together and take our guitars down by the river and play and sing, myself and a lot of other people. So that introduced me to a lot of like the 3/4 stuff that was traditional from the area, and valses, if you would like, 3/4 and 2/4, which are corridos. And then something happened, and we got into rock and roll. And found out, oh, this is a lot of fun, you know. And even before hooky, my parents and my uncles and relatives, they all got together at get-togethers and played music, and we thought, man, that looks like it could be pretty fun. So that was actually before the high school thing. And so after that, we just kept playing wherever we could get a gig, and whoever needed an extra player. I played different instruments and sit in with different players. Sat in with Billy and his group. The Third Wheel Band. Do you remember Larry Devers?
Yes.
He was our drummer. He was the Las Vegas guy, very accomplished. Bobby Darin's drummer. Mm-hmm. And so all that rock and roll really got into us, and it's been reflective on some of the stuff we write, and of course the stuff that we cover, because we still play gigs, and we play a variety of gigs. So when we go to places like the Taos Inn and we play the blues or some other semi-rock tune and then go right into a bolero, a valse, it's very well accepted by people, locals as well as visitors and stuff. So then I can't remember when it was, but I recorded my first album called Changes. And at that point, I went solo. I was solo when that album came out. I used studio musicians, but I was a solo. And my buddies would come up and say, "Oh man, now you're alone. You get all the bucks." That's what they would tell me. And there's a saying called "Mejor solo que mal acompañado." That means you're better off alone than in bad company. So I wrote a tune called "Mejor solo que mal acompañado," and that told the whole story of it. And along with all that stuff, we're still playing gigs. Played last week, did another recording. Tim was the drummer on the last recording stuff, and I sure appreciate Tim. He's quite the professional, easy to work with, and so up to then, yeah, and here we are in Cuesta.
What better place? Why don't you do that? Did you guys practice?
No,
No, mejor solo
not
que
that
mal.
one. Other stuff off the album, but not that one.
Well, get another one going.
Bill, go ahead.
Okay. So for many years, actually 50 years, I was a music minister in the Catholic Church. and composed several masses. And I also composed a song at that time, and I recorded an album as well, a CD, called Primero Dios, in which I recorded most of my liturgical music that I play and have composed. And one song that I wrote is called Buenos Dias, Señor, and which means good morning, Lord. And it's about my feeling of living in Taos and being in this area, and my friends and family and everyone, and what a blessing it's been for me to be here. Anyway, this is Buenos Dias, Señor.
Buenos días, Señor, buenos días. Hoy vengo a cantarte alabanza. Buenos días, Señor, buenos días. Hoy te canto con el corazón. Gracias por el sol que es tan lindo, nuevo día, las flores tan bellas, el agua viva, las sierras gloriosas, cielo azul y también las estrellas. Buenos días, Señor, buenos días. Hoy vengo a cantarte alabanza. Buenos días, Señor, buenos días. Hoy te canto con el corazón. I will sing the world with your glory. I will sing great praises nation. You have given me all that I am, Lord, special family and friends, a great nation. Buenos días, Señor, buenos días. Hoy vengo a cantarte alabanza. Buenos días, Señor, buenos días. Hoy te canto con el corazón. Cantaré por doquier de tu gloria, cantaré como estrella de día. Tú me alimentas con todo lo que tengo, nada me faltará ese día. Buenos días, Señor, buenos días. Hoy vengo a cantarte alabanza. Buenos días de Dios, buenos días. Hoy te canto con el corazón. Hoy te canto con el corazón.
Thank you.
All right, let's change gears a little bit. Talk about your family. You know, with your wife, your kids. Tell us a little bit about them, what's going on, and all that good stuff.
I'm married to Benita Varos Archuleta from Des Montes. We were neighbors when we were small, but we didn't know each other. And then one day I kind of spotted her, you know, and the rest is history. But she's from Arroyo Seco. I have two sons. Richard, and he's married to Alicia, and they have my only two grandkids that are grown and doing very well. That's a very, very good feeling. They live in Colorado, and my grandson lives in Arlington, Virginia. The family, like I say, they used to get together and pull out the guitars and the violins and the beer, and have a great time. Have a great time, and that inspired us quite a bit to learn to play mainly guitar and other stringed instruments. And we visited with them. We experienced that quite a bit. We did traditional stuff like serenading people on New Year's Day, Los Dias. They still have that up in Costilla, Bernie Torres and those folks. And family is great. I have one brother and two sisters in Arroyo Seco. Loretta lives in Albuquerque, and we see her all the time. She's disabled, but I communicate with her almost every night on Facebook. I chat with her video, and she's very excited when we play. She sees our postings on Facebook and stuff like that. So the whole family is, if they don't play, they can sing pretty good.
Good.
And I'm blessed, Mike.
Right on. Billy Boy?
Well, I'm married to Teresa. She was Wilson. Her maiden name was Wilson, and when I first heard her name, I pictured, because we grew up in Seco, so there wasn't very many Anglo people there.
Any
And
blind people.
I pictured her, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed lady, right? So, or girl, and when I met her, she was dark-skinned, black hair, you know, very, very Hispanic-looking, more so than me, a lot more. And we have 3 kids. Our oldest is Lee, and then Lucia, and Lucas. And our daughter Lucia lives in Florida with her daughter and her husband. And Lee and Lucas live here. And Lee has 2 children, beautiful kids, Alessandra and Salvador, and just love them to death. And when I was growing up, I remember, like John said, our family parties, you know, get-togethers. And I remember my mom and dad singing together a lot, and my dad playing guitar, mostly guitar. But also my uncles would come, and my tío Manuel played violin, my uncle Damian played violin, and my uncle Ramon played guitar. And he mesmerized me because he was really a great guitar player. So I wanted to learn to play like him. And the only thing I couldn't get, I had this mental block and never got over it, was the huapango rhythm. I could never get that one down, so. But
Welcome to my world.
and so anyway, I wrote music as well. I played in the church for 50 years, and now I sing and play with the choir at St. James Episcopal Church. And I love it. I mean, music has always been the focal point of my life, and it's been my driving force as far as, you know, keeping me grounded, keeping me happy, and keeping me out of trouble for the most part, you know.
Well, it only took 6 weeks for your wife to say, go back to work.
Yeah. And
Music.
and I thank God every week, every day actually, for the gift of music, because I consider it a gift, and for the people that influenced me throughout the years, you know, because without that I wouldn't be playing much of what I do, you know, and that's my life
So far, yeah.
so far. Yeah.
So far. So let's do another song.
Okay.
Let me see if that charts back here. This next song I'm going to do is another song I wrote, and it's on an album called El Corrido de Billy the Kid.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the Billy the Kid song, but Tim Long helped me do percussion on this song. If I'd have known you'd have been here, I'd say, throw in your claves, buddy. But I wrote this song. Cool. I wrote this song when you write songs, you get an idea and you write it down wherever it is. I wrote this first line on a crumpled up napkin in my car when I was going to do a service call and put it away. And it was almost 2 years later or more that I picked it up and said, oh, here's this song, let's see what we do with it. When I was about 6 years old, back in the day, people had large families, and they would say to other people, you want a kid? That actually happened, maybe not like that, but they would let their grandkids go live with their grandparents, their aunts and uncles and stuff. And so I was voted to go live with my grandfather for a few years. The hardest thing about that is that he'd have me go to bed when it was still light outside. And I could hear all the kids running and playing and all this stuff outside. But he told me some stories that I don't know who else he told, but this song is based on a story that he told me. It's called San Luis, Colorado. People used to go from Arroyo Seco, Cuesta, and these places to San Luis and Antonito to trade produce that they had grown through the winter. And they did that along with getting together and playing music at these things, because it took a day or two to get there, a day or two to get back. So they would stay for a while up there. And this is my grandpa's song. It's called...
Give me a chart. I need to...
We'll share it in case I space it out. Tim can remind me, he was in on this. Aquí estoy en San Cristóbal, dando la lluvia a caer. Mañana para San Luis, Colorado, vamos al amanecer. Mañana para San Luis, Colorado, vamos al amanecer. A comprar de las cosechas, papas en saco de guangoche. Carros de caballo caminaban de día y de noche. En carros de caballo caminaban de día y de noche. La iglesia Sangre de Cristo, frente de las montañas, entre el ganado corrían los coyotes, había marranos y gallinas. Entre el ganado corrían los coyotes, había marranos y gallinas. Al pie de la Sierra La Blanca, el otoño ya estaba frío. Pasaban 2 o 3 noches, pero ay, Dios mío. Pasaban 2 o 3 noches, pero ay, Dios mío. Soy Juan del Arroyo Seco, llevé mula para beber. Salía el arroz un poquito por otro año que nos fue bien. El arroz un poquito por otro año que nos fue bien.
Compramos maíz para la tole, frijoles para todo el invierno. Compramos ristras de chile, quemosos como el infierno. Compramos ristras de chile, quemosos como el infierno. El lunes a la madrugada caminamos con todo amarrado al otro lado del río de San Luis, Colorado. Al otro lado del Río Grande de San Luis, Colorado. Thank you guys, thank you.
Oh yeah, John, you talk about you went to do service calls. What were you doing? What was the?
I was a computer tech for quite a few years. Owned my own business in Desmontes Computer. I still do a little bit of that, but that's the gig I was on when I found myself in San Cristobal, and it was chispeando, snowing lightly. Aquí estoy en San Cristóbal, cuidando la lluvia caer. I'm here. And I remember exactly where I was, right on the turnoff going up the hill. And one of the verses here, it says, Soy Juan del Arroyo Seco. I'm John, but this was my grandfather. He was my tocayo.
Yeah.
What's tocayo in English, Mike?
The same name.
Namesake. Anyway, so he was a bootlegger. He was everyone knew him. He used to make moonshine and stuff. So this one verse is, Soy Juan del Arroyo Seco, llevé mula para beber. I took moonshine
To drink.
for the get-togethers to celebrate the fact that we did have another good year. Exactly what that verse says.
That's cool. It is. Yeah. Billy, what did, you know, you did music, you played in church, what else?
I was a school bus contractor for 20 years. And I also owned my own business on the side. I serviced office machines. I had House Mountain Office Supply. And then I had a third job, but what was it? Oh, well, it was the bus, music, and the servicing. And in I think it was 82, I believe. I was on my way to TP, 89, now that I remember, 89. I was on my way to TP for a 4-H meeting because my kids were involved in 4-H. And I was approaching the bridge. There was no snow, it was clear. And I slowed way down because I know about black ice and everything. I was in a small pickup. And I got on the bridge and my rear end, the tail end of the truck just swerved just a little bit. So I thought I'd try and correct. Well, the more I tried to correct, the worse it got. To where I ended up spinning and I hit the walkway and flipped over. And at that point, I had my eyes closed and I thought, whatever, God, you know, it's up, I have no control, so you're the one in charge here. So when I flipped over, I thought I had gone over the side. That's the only thing I could think of. Then I suddenly stopped and I thought, well, if I'm getting a second chance here, so I better get out of the truck before it goes the rest of the way. So I climbed out and I was still on top of the bridge, but my truck was upside down. And I was the only one in the area until this neighbor of mine was coming from TP, and he said he came over that rise just as you approached the bridge from TP, and he saw it happen. He said, first move that I saw the tail end of your truck go, he said, I knew it was over. And he said, I saw the whole thing. Well, he's the one that called the ambulance and stuff, and it was one of those moments where you see your life flash before you and you think, you know, but it was quite moving. So at that point I thought, well, life's too short, so I need to give up one job so I can have time with my family and time to play music and stuff. So I gave up I started working on giving up the bus contracting business. That was probably the one I liked least. So I did. I finally ended up getting rid of my bus, and I stayed working on office machines for quite a while, and still composing music. A lot of it came to me in the early morning hours. I'd wake up at 3 and have this tune going through my head, so I'd get up and sit down and start writing and playing guitar. But there's a lot of times when you get stuck on a song and you're not quite sure where to go, and like John said, it takes years sometimes. And I had composed a mass, La Misa de Guadalupe, which was all the mass parts and a few extra songs. And I got to perform some of the songs at the Vatican. We went to Rome, and I played them there, and I played them in Assisi, and at the cathedral built for St. Francis. And St. Francis has always been my patron saint. So then I wrote a song for him. And I knew that he loved animals, and he especially loved birds. So I wrote a song called Canta Pajarito, which to me reflects his love and his feeling. And then I just kept writing, and I'm still, to this day, I've got songs going through my mind.
Do you have Canta Pajarito with you?
Mm-hmm.
Would you do it?
Sure. Let's switch guitars here.
Oh, switch guitars.
Over the years, I've learned to use a capo a lot because I don't have the voice in a lot of the songs that I play, so I have to adjust it to mine. Right? Anyway, this is Canta Pajarito. Canta, canta, pajarito, alegre y contento. Canta, canta, pajarito, cántale a nuestro Señor. Canta de alegría y de nuestro amor de Dios. Qué bonitas tus canciones me llenan el corazón. Canta, canta, pajarito, alegre y con fervor. Canta, canta, pajarito, cántale a nuestro Señor. Cuando siento la tristeza o de penas ando mal, siempre escucho en el viento tus canciones a mi Dios. Canta, canta, pajarito, alegre y con fervor. Canta, canta, pajarito, cántale a nuestro Señor. Dios te viste con cariño y nunca te faltará. Con el sol y las estrellas, Él siempre te guiará. Canta, canta, pajarito, alegre y con fervor. Canta, canta, pajarito, cántale a nuestro Señor. Canta, canta, pajarito, alegre y con fervor. Canta, canta.
nuestro Señor.
Thank you. Thank you.
They say there's something in that. Related people, the Everly brothers, people that are related, they have something in there. I'm not sure what it's called, what it is, but it works. It's worked for us. And a lot of the traditional folk music, Spanish music that we play, sort of requires that to have its full effect, you know. When we sing with Michael and gig with Michael, we join in wherever we can and throw that harmony in. And we call it, in Spanish, we call it segunda, which is the second. It's not really the second all the time. It's just a harmony. It's usually the fifth, but it can be anything. So yeah, harmony is just like another instrument. As soon as someone else starts singing harmony, you've got another instrument in the mix, right, Tim?
Yeah.
And that's what I tell my students. I teach at Taos Academy. I teach performance because I don't read or write. I don't sight read music. I'm probably the only member of St. James Choir that does not. And but I teach my middle school and high school students performance, which means I get them. They come to my class, and I get them from some of them never having touched an instrument in their lives, to actually performing a song. And they learn how to read charts, chord charts and lyrics, and how to work together to put this song together. And so it's been interesting, it's been fun. And like John says, our uncles used to play all these old songs, and my uncle Damian, who has a recording in the Smithsonian, we used to go visit him, and my parents would visit with my aunt, with Elisa, and my uncle would call me aside and he'd say, "Mira, come over here." And he'd start teaching me these old folk songs. He would play the violin and I would follow him on the guitar. And a lot of times I would make mistakes and he would tell me, "No, pendejo," not like that, you know. So it was kind of a hard lesson, you know, but he taught me a lot. And he and my uncle, Ramon, his brother, and my dad's brother, taught me how to play matachines. So I've learned that as well. And John and I both play with a group out of, I guess it would be Denver or
Lorenzo.
with Dr. Lorenzo Trujillo.
Southwest Musicians is what it's called.
And we play all that old folk music.
Do you guys have one of those old folk songs you can do?
The only one we have is La Llorona.
Oh,
no, actually, Échale un cinco. Échale un cinco al piano.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Échale un cinco al piano que se está dejando y véngase mi rienda en medio del salón. Bailemos esa polka, la rumba o el danzón, más sea de junta y verás que vaciló. Ay mamá, me aprieta este señor. Ay mamá, que repegada estoy, siento ya morir de emoción. Échale un cinco al piano y que siga el vacilón. Afloja la cintura y no pierdas compás y mueve la cadera con más velocidad. Repegues otro poco, no se haga para atrás, no seas tan ranchera y aprenda a vacilar. Ay mamá, me aprieta este señor. Ay mamá, que repegada estoy, siento ya morir de emoción. Échale un cinco al piano y que siga el vacilón.
y mueve la cadera con más velocidad. Repeguese otro poco, no se haga para atrás, no seas tan ranchera y aprenda a vacilar. Ay, mamá, ya ves este señor. Ay, mamá, que repegada estoy. Siento ya morirme de emoción. Echarle un 5 al piano y que siga el vacilón. Echarle un 5 al piano y que siga el vacilón. Echarle un 5 al piano y que siga el vacilón.
That song is relating to a situation where they used to dance to the jukebox. And they used to put a nickel way back then. Nickels are almost on their way out, I think, also. But this one says, put another nickel in the jukebox, man, and let's have some fun. And that's basically what he said.
Talk about this group that you're in from Denver. You said. Talk about that.
Okay, it's called the Southern Musicians, and Dr. Lorenzo Trujillo is the, how would you say, founder of it?
The boss.
The boss, yeah. And we do pretty much all folk music from northern New Mexico, southern Colorado area. And it dates back as far as the 1800s, some of the music that was written. And Cleofes Vigil, Cleofes Ortiz, is that his last name? From Las Vegas.
Vigil, kind of.
Cleofes Vigil is from here in San Cristobal, yeah. Anyway, the music dates way back, and it's interesting because some of the pieces have a slight offbeat rhythm, and they'll add a quarter note here or there when you're playing. So you have to really anticipate it and listen for it. And it's caught me off guard a few times. So
does that all the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I do that without even knowing I'm doing it. That's just my style. That's because I'm old, you know.
And the group is usually a little bit bigger group than we're used to. Like maybe there's 7, 8, sometimes more people. So we get to play. I play guitarrón in the group, and but the music that we do, the traditional, along with Southwest musicians and all that stuff just comes to us so natural because we've heard it for forever. Even if we don't know the song, we know what's coming around the bend, kind of thing, unless it's a half note that's put in there. But it's very interesting. In fact, we're doing some concerts up in Colorado in June and July.
Where at?
One is in Alamosa,
That's on
one is in La Jara, one is in Fort Garland,
in San
and another
Luis.
one's in San Luis.
San Luis.
You should give us the dates.
June 20th in Alamosa, June 21st in La Jara, July 24th in Fort Garland, and July 25th in San Luis.
Post that
And
on
it-
Facebook, John.
Pardon me?
Can you put that on Facebook?
Okay, yeah, we will be
Yeah.
closer to it.
I think it's a good idea so people can go and maybe you could actually come to Cuesta and do a concert.
That would be
You know, it wouldn't hurt.
right,
You
right.
know, because I know that there's musicians here that do that funny note. I would love to hear it.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have you at the farmer's market.
Yeah.
Have you doing that.
One of the CDs that I put out a while back, about 5 years ago, I play with Audrey Davis.
Yes.
You guys know Audrey. And that album is called Cuatro Milpas. It's translated into the 4 cornfields. It laments about there not being any garden growers, corn growers or anything anymore. They're going by the wayside. But that was the title of it, and it includes all traditional folk music. So maybe we can do that La Llorona now,
Okay.
which is on the CD.
All right.
And
We'd
you remember
love to
that
hear
one,
it.
Tim?
Love to hear it.
Todos me dicen el negro llorona, negro pero cariñoso. Todos me dicen el negro llorona, negro pero cariñoso. Yo soy como el chile verde llorona, picante pero sabroso. Yo soy como el chile verde llorona, picante pero sabroso. Ay de mi llorona, llorona de azul celeste. Ay de mi llorona, llorona de azul celeste. Y aunque la vida me cueste, llorona, no dejaré de quererte. Y aunque la vida me cueste, llorona, no dejaré de quererte. Dicen que no tengo duelo, llorona, porque no me ven llorar. Dicen que no tengo duelo, llorona, porque no me ven llorar. Hay muertos que no hacen ruido, llorona, es más grande su pena. Hay muertos que no hacen ruido, llorona, es más grande su pena. Todos me dicen el negro llorona, negro pero cariñoso. Todos me dicen el negro llorona, negro pero cariñoso. Camino solo y perdido, llorona, mi sueño y no dichoso. Camino solo y perdido, llorona, mi sueño y no dichoso. Llorona, llorona, llorona,
Harmonies are
Did your family have any Llorona stories for you guys when you were growing up along the ditches and the rios?
La Llorona is folklore. That was the boogeyman.
Yeah.
La Llorona was the boogeyman. You stay out after dark, buddy. La Llorona's gonna get you. And we were all freaked out, man.
That's why your grandfather had you.
Yeah, and then,
For it was
so
dark.
then later on, after we learned rock and roll, Llorona, come along with us. But if La Llorona, the weeping woman, if you've ever read any stories about that. Tragic story. She lost her kids. She was down at the river every evening, kind of looking for them, her ghost. So that's who we were supposed to be afraid of. Because she was looking for little kids. If she got you, she'd take you to live with her. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Are there any other stories that your grandfather told you when you were living? You mentioned that there were some different stories. Are there any ones that you would?
Well, I'll go over some of these lyrics here and what they mentioned, which is one of the trips they took to San Luis to exchange or buy produce or whatever they needed. So this one that says a comprar de las cosechas, to buy the produce. They used to buy potatoes in gunny sacks.
yeah.
Gunny sacks were sacos de guangoche.
50 pounders.
And that's what this one mentions here, sacos de guangoche. It talks about them having to hitch up the horses and the wagons, that was their means of transportation, and get ready for a long one-day trip, a lot of times 2 days of trips. So then the next verse says, al frente de la iglesia sangre de Cristo, in front of the Holy Trinity Church in San Luis, in front of the mountains, al frente de las montañas, it says, corrían los coyotes entre el ganado. You used to see coyotes running in between the cows and the sheep and stuff like that. And it mentions in that verse, there were also chickens and pigs. Those are the main things people had back then: cows, sheep, pigs, and chickens. Some people had other stuff, but that's what it was. So I mentioned the one about my father being a bootlegger and taking a little bit of nip stuff over to Colorado. And when it says compramos maíz para la tole, that was a staple hot cereal in the morning, like cream of wheat or something like that. But it was made usually from cornmeal, from blue corn or yellow corn, but atole is from the blue corn. So it says compramos maíz para la tole, and beans, big sacks of beans to last you all year. We also bought ristras of chili, hotter than hell. And
Keep you warm in the winter.
Quemosos como el infierno, that's what that means. They were hotter than heck. So then on Monday mornings, we would leave with everything tied up to come back to New Mexico on this side of the Rio Grande. And that was my father's story that I remember mostly about him. All the other ones were get to bed and put some Bengay on, buddy. But mentioning Bengay, Mike, on the last album we did where Tim played with me, I thought, well, I'll put in a kind of a little rockish tune in here. And there's a Friday afternoon dance every Friday down at the Eagles. And I heard someone mention the Bengay Boogie. And so I thought, well, let me give this one a shot.
Okay.
And so here it goes. Ready, Tim? 2, 3, 4. Well, every Friday afternoon, by 1 o'clock, shine up your shoes and be ready to rock. 'Cause there's a club here in town, but 1 to 4 you can bust it out. Everything's cool, the music is fine, and the band make movies all the time. The seniors dance is what they call it. Truquitos can rock, ain't no doubt about it. It's a sold-out house aquí en town. La plena de dancing, summer romance, everything's cool, the music is fine, and the band make movies all the time. Compadre Juan, comadre Shorty, they're gonna get down at the Bengay Boogie. Everything's cool, the music is fine at the Bengay Boogie all the time. Well, the seniors dance is what they call it. Truquitos can rock, we're part of that crowd. I'm
You're
getting ready to
Bengay.
I'm getting ready to send off a letter to the Bengay Corporation, see if just see what happens, man. You know,
You never know.
you might send me a case of it. I was hoping for bucks.
Or
but
lifetime supply,
a
maybe.
case of it.
You know,
Thank
John,
you, Michael.
John
Go ahead.
talks about our grandfather a lot, and I really envy him because I never knew my grandfather. None of my grandparents. They were gone by the time I was probably close between 3 and 4. And I spent the first year and a half, well, I should say from a year and a half to 3 years in Fort Stanton by Alamogordo because I had TB as a child. So they sent me there for treatment. And my mom and dad used to come and visit me once a month. And when I left there, I spoke just Spanish. And so when I got home at 3 years of age, the English was totally foreign.
Foreign too.
Foreign, yeah.
Real foreign.
And I remember very distinctly, I was terrified of Jell-O. I don't know what, because it wiggled and I thought it was alive. No, I don't know. But that was one of my memories, and I still have memories of Fort Stanton. You know, some of the things that happened there, some of the people I knew, and it was a very traumatic part of my life, and created a lot of some separation anxiety, if you will, throughout. But anyway, yeah, my grandparents were not around when I was back here, and so I grew very close to my tios, my aunts and uncles, and then I developed a very close relationship to my wife's grandmother because she was raised by her grandmother. So when we got together and started dating and stuff, I bonded with her grandmother like, wow, it was amazing. And I'd go over, and she was blind. She was close to 80, and she only had a wood stove to cook on, and she would make the best tortillas you could ever want, and perfectly round. She rolled them, and she felt it where it needed to be rolled, and she never burned her hands on the wood
Yeah,
stove.
I was going to ask
She
you
was,
that.
no, she knew how to do it, and she made some of the best panocha that I had ever had. But we had long talks, and we had a great time. And then she passed away. She passed away a year before our oldest son was born, and I was really wish she would have been around to see him. But no, I remember my mom and dad singing. They were kind of like the life of the party, as far as I could tell. They really loved to sing, and they accompanied each other. So that's, I think, where John and I developed this harmony and being able to follow.
What were your parents' names?
Elizardo and Lupe Archuleta.
And I think us musicians, I know Tim, Mike, and some of the other people might be musicians, that is the life of the party. That is what keeps people at the party and keeps them involved, singing along. So in that sense, another blessing, we get together with people now, about 90% of the time, they have us pull out our guitars and play a few tunes, which is great, but you people understand, you musicians, that
If I go visit anybody, the first question, they don't ask, how are you?
Yeah.
Did you bring your guitar?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
That's the way life is.
exactly.
So I have a
In other words.
question, and kind of a long introduction here, but we've been here 52 years, so I feel like I have permission here to maybe bring this up, but I don't mean it in any antagonistic way at all.
Sure.
But what are your memories of the alternative culture that I don't know if this has ever come up on this interviews before, but What are your memories of the alternative culture that came here in the late 60s and early 70s, and not just you, but your family, and how you reacted to it at that time, and what your evolution of that is, and then how it affected your music, you know? In other words, when the hippies came.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
We knew what you were saying.
we kind of knew the era you were talking about. Yeah.
I saw my first hippie in 1968. Passed by him in the school bus, and to me, he's just another person, man. He has a different lifestyle, and he does what he does. But there were some ugly times between locals and the hipsters. They had a hard time. For people that were promoting peace and love, they got their ass kicked and stuff during the whole thing, you know. I personally didn't feel bad about it, because ultimately I ended up smoking the joint here and there. They're the people that brought it. So we were fine with that. But when I would see incidents in town on the Taos Plaza where people that I knew were taking advantage of these people and wanting to, I'm not sure what they wanted to prove by getting violent with them, but that was a reality back then. And then there was quite a few people that were not saying, okay, this is just another person. He's different, but hey, he's fine. Bill?
And pretty much the same attitude. I mean, these were just people moving in. Our parents, my mother always taught to accept people. Everybody's different. Everybody's got their own ideas and whatever. And so to me, it was just more people moving in. Came to find out many years later that in Seco, right in the heart of Seco, there was a small house where the Doors lived, the group The Doors.
Yeah.
And that kind of blew my mind after
After the fact.
after the fact. And then Neil Young used to hang out in Taos quite a bit in the 70s.
Yeah.
You know, there were a lot of musicians and movie stars that used to hang out in Taos.
Yeah.
And to me, I always thought, well, if that's the way they want to live, that's fine. You know, I won't go there, even though at one point I had my hair down to about here.
Yeah.
It was frizzy and it was like out here. And that was my idea of being a hippie, I guess, you know, as close as I would get. And yeah, it just totally different lifestyle, but we still kept our roots, which is, I think, really important.
This house he's talking about where they said that Jim Morrison and the Doors lived there, we would go visit those guys, and they always had their instruments just up, ready to play. So we went to play electric instruments there and do whatever they did. So we were cool with that. We were accepting of them, you know, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. But music opens so many doors.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's an amazing thing, the doors that this guitar will open for you everywhere you go.
But you got to take it with you
Well, yeah.
for the doors to open.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you knock on the door and they'll look and say, well, where's the guitar?
Last time I went to Ruidoso for a conference, I walked in. Nobody asked, how was the trip? How are you? Did you bring your guitar? That's it. And of course, if you go without it, you're in trouble. So,
You know, I had an experience one time when I was playing at the not the Camel Rock, the Cities of Gold Casino. I was doing a Sunday brunch, and I would stroll around table to table, and I walked in to start my gig, and I was like going through my head, what do I want to play? What could I start with that'll get people, you know, interested? Well, I was thinking that this gentleman came up and he said, would you mind singing at our table? It's my mother's 90th birthday, and I would like to sing her a song. So I went over there and I sang Dos Arbolitos. And in the middle of the song, she started crying. And I thought to myself, well, could be one of two things. I'm either really touching her heart or I'm really doing this bad. And so I kept going. And when I finished, she said, you know, that song took me back to my childhood. And I brought back so many memories, and she was crying. And I thought, well, then my role as a musician and singer is that of a storyteller.
Exactly.
So
do
I
you
need
still
to.
do it, Dos Arbolitos?
Yeah.
Would you do it?
Well, I don't have, it's been too long.
Ah,
It's been, I mean, you know, as you know, as well as I do,
yeah, I
that
know. Well,
as you
without
go along, you learn new songs and others get kind of left by the wayside. And
Dos Arbolitos, yeah.
that was one of my favorite songs.
And that
Um,
song, just so that you know about that, that song came from during the time of the revolution in Mexico. Most of those songs at that time are written by women. Because they were in the campos, they went with their husbands everywhere. And when the guys were out there trying to kill each other, the women were at the campo. So almost all those songs were written by women. Of course, they didn't get the recognition, but it is, that one is written by a lady, you know, so. It's a great, in fact, I was just looking at that song yesterday. I think I want to revive it because
Yeah.
it's such a beautiful song.
It is, it really is.
Yeah.
And speaking of songs and familiarity with songs and stuff, on the Billy the Kid album, I did "You Are My Sunshine," but I threw in some Spanish lyrics to it. And whenever I play it, like at the house, everywhere I play it, 90% of everyone knows that song. So I like to do it now, and I'm going to give you guys a chance to join us in some vocals here, okay? You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Era una noche mientras dormía, yo te soñaba en mi casa. Al despertar yo estaba solo, entonces me puse a llorar. You guys know. He was my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Tú eres mi vida, el sol que brilla. Tú me contentas cuando ando mal. Nunca sabrás cuánto yo te amo. No me quites ese día. You guys. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed Thank you guys. That's on the Billy the Kid CD also, and we have some here for sale in case anyone cares to support the cause. Tim was the drummer. Can't say enough about it, Tim.
Yeah.
And
Mike.
And we will be playing in Taos. Next Wednesday, the 15th, I'll be at the Taos Inn playing. And on April 25th, we'll be playing at the Hotel Willa, the new hotel
new
right
place.
across Smith.
Okay.
We'll be there. They're having a 1-year anniversary, which blew my mind because I didn't realize they'd been there that long.
Yeah, like 3 months ago.
I know. It's,
They fixed that real nice though.
yes. We've got a beautiful back patio. Wow. It's amazing.
Okay.
What you got, Mike?
Huh?
What you got?
Well, you know, this, first of all, thank you.
Oh yeah, you guys are welcome.
I thought this was a wonderful day. I was really blown by your harmonies today. It's like really sweet. And this is what part of what I wanted to do with all this is showcase everybody that we kept bringing here. Did you find the site?
I did.
Yeah.
Did. Thank you.
Yeah, and when we're trying to do different things, next month, we're trying to bring in as many mothers as we can, maybe 15, 20 mothers to come and tell stories about, since it's Mother's Day month, I guess, Mother's Month, and to do that, I want to bring this in. So if you know Constance, maybe you can. I tried to get her to do it, but she said she'd rather have you do it. Yeah, you know.
Do what?
Tell the story.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
mothers.
When
So
you
ladies here, that you know that if you want to come and speak 5-10 minutes, please do. We would appreciate that very much.
It
When
could,
Mike-
it could be about motherhood yourself, or it could also be about your mother.
when you first said mothers, I was going to say you won't have a problem in Cuesta finding 20 mothers, but we're talking moms here, so.
I love that. And then in June, I'm going to bring a young lady by the name of Erika Vigil Flores. She wrote a book called Healing with Dirt. So her parents were, or grandfather was a curandero, and so she's writing about that. I want to have her come. I'm trying to get another lady to come that does herbs and stuff like that. But then July we're going to have the Leon brothers and sister from Cerro to come in and talk about their lives, because they have a crazy life too, you know. And August, I think I want to have Bobby Ortega come and talk about the history of Cuesta, and I'm going to have Dwayne, his son, come in as music break, because Bobby talks too much, so we need to do that. So I would, first of all, gracias, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So why don't you take us home with one more song?
How about Billy the Kid?
All right, sounds good to me.
When I was a young kid and we were playing cowboys and Indians outside, we actually knew about Billy the Kid way back then. And to us, he was portrayed sort of as a Robin Hood kind of guy. When people wanted to take what wasn't theirs, and it became pretty involved, and that was the Lincoln County War.
Yeah.
Not an official war, but a very bloody situation that happened in Lincoln County. And this is, we'll just play part of it, because it's a 9-minute song, and
What, you want to do 9 minutes for exercise?
let's see how much I remember.
Okay, okay. No less than 3. No more than that.
In G? Okay. You got me there. Oh, wait, I can still do it. Guess not. Okay.
Desierto donde fue nacido, pues dicen que en Nueva York fue proscrito y bandido en Nuevo México. De joven perdió a su madre, su padre lo abandonó y en 21 años de vida más de 20 mató. En el condado de Lincoln, Nuevo México, el joven Billy the Kid ahí vivió y murió. Era la guerra de Lincoln, Nuevo México, Billy the Kid ahí vivió y murió. Tenía una alegre sonrisa, y es que era muy buen bailador. También el piano tocaba como buen trovador. Ahí en ese rancho de Maxwell, allí vivía su sobrina, una buena amiga de Billy, se llamaba Paulita. En esos tiempos de Bilito, la ley era muy traicionera. El que tenía dinero mandaba por donde quiera. En el condado de Lincoln, Nuevo México, el joven Billy the Kid ahí vivió y murió. Era la guerra de Lincoln, Nuevo México, Billy the Kid ahí vivió y murió. Varias veces fue a dar en la cárcel, no importa cuánto lo cuidaban. Maldito Billy the Kid, por lo pronto se les escapa. Mató a ese sheriff Brady, los más que se atravesaron, también amigos de Billy fueron damnificados. Ed Garrett lo andaba buscando, a Bilito quería entregar. Ahí en ese rancho de Maxwell no pensaba en buscar. En el condado de Lincoln, Nuevo México, el joven Billy the Kid ahí vivió y murió. Era la guerra de Lincoln, Nuevo México, Billy the Kid ahí vivió y murió. El gobernador, señor Wallace, le prometía su perdón quiénes son. Wallace le dice a Bilito, libre te puedo soltar, pero en el pueblo de Mesía sentenciaron a colgar. Por última vez se escapaba, por las montañas corrió, cargado con una pistola y un caballo de reloj. En el condado de Lincoln, Nuevo México, Bilito, Billy the Kid, ahí vivió y murió. Era la guerra de Lincoln, Nuevo México, Bilito, Billy the Kid, ahí vivió y murió.
Sorry.
Ayer mataron como cobardes, en el escuro lo buscaban, porque ya sabían que con Billy no chingaban. Es cierto, nunca lo mataron, y a México fue a dar. Tenía muchos amigos ayudándole a escapar. Allí se quedó su fantasma. Fort Sumner está en los llanos, donde encierraban a los indios y a Bilito el chivato. En el condado de Lincoln, Nuevo México, el joven Billy the Kid, ahí vivió y murió. Era la guerra de Lincoln, Nuevo México, Bilito, Billy the Kid, ahí vivió y murió. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, unless you guys got something else, thank you. Any guys?
Want to do that?
any questions?
Everly
Anybody
Brothers?
have anything?
Can we do that? Can we do Everly Brothers?
Everybody,
Just speaking of harmonies.
go ahead. Yeah, do it, everybody. too.
What keys are they?
G.
G.
You can all sing along too. By the way, if you come watch me at the House Inn or anywhere, you're all welcome to sing along. I love it when people sing along.
Bye bye love, bye bye happiness, hello loneliness, I think I'm gonna cry. Bye 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 love, bye bye sweet caress, hello emptiness, I feel like I could die. Bye bye my love, goodbye. There goes my baby with someone new. She sure looks happy, I sure am too. She was my baby till he stepped in. Goodbye to romance that might have been. And I say bye bye love, bye bye happiness, hello loneliness, feel like I could cry. Bye bye love, bye bye sweet caress, hello emptiness, I feel like I'm gonna die. Bye bye my love, goodbye.
I'm through with romance. I'm through with love. I'm through with counting the stars above. And here's the reason that I'm so free. My lovely baby is through with me. And I say, bye-bye love, bye-bye happiness. Hello loneliness, I feel like I could cry. Bye-bye love, bye-bye sweet caress. Hello emptiness, I think I'm going to die. Bye-bye my love, goodbye. Bye-bye my love, goodbye.
One more question for you. Tell me about this Pimentel.
I acquired this off of a good friend of mine who's since passed. It's Mike Tenorio.
Okay.
And he had been in a real bad accident. Real bad. He was a player, and he was involved in a real bad accident. And he couldn't play anymore, so he was selling his guitars. And I got this, and I tried it out, and I fell in love with it. It's one of the Pimentel is mostly known for their classical guitars.
Yeah.
And so I don't think they make very many steel string guitars. But the tone on it is beautiful. I love it because it's real even.
And the pegs are steel?
Yeah.
They have steel pegs instead of the
And-
plastic like the rest.
And I replaced those. I replaced the plastic because it came with the plastic.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I replaced them because I felt it would provide a little more sustain on the strings.
Cool.
And if I really wanted a lot of sustain, I would put a metal nut here.
Yeah.
Then,
Well, sounds great. I just wondered about that guitar.
yeah.
You can tell it's been played a lot right here.
Oh yeah. That's my forearm.
I have
Yes.
two little before we close up. You mentioned like the phrase almost like a dicho mejor solo que mal acompañada. I'm wondering if there's any other sayings or dichos that's part of our kind of collection that you can think of or that you favorites that you can remember.
There are several. Mike might remember some off the top of his head.
There was one that my mother always used to tell me because she was never into gossiping about people. She didn't care to do that. And one time we were talking, and she said, "No hay quien escupa para arriba, que en la cara no se le caiga." In other words, you can't spit up and not expect it to fall on your face. So
That's the truth, boy.
yeah.
That's the truth.
There are several. I just can't remember them right now. But yeah, they were pretty true. Almost everything they said. They
Another
were
one was
cliche, but
yeah. Another one was más claro no canta el gallo, and that's if you wanted to make somebody understand something, you would say it as clearly as possible. And if they didn't get it, you would tell them, "Ya más claro no canta el gallo." The rooster doesn't sing any clearly than that.
Yeah.
Any clearer,
Reminds me of that one, en la boca cerrada no entras moscas.
there you go.
Yes, that's right. No le entra el peine. That's another one.
Yeah, no, it's not fair.
Yeah. Somebody who's
No matter
hard-headed.
how bad you can't get something into
Yeah.
that brain.
There was one that probably came about because of maybe sheep or cattle. It says, "El que no llora no mama."
That's right.
The one that doesn't cry doesn't get to suckle.
Yeah.
The greasy wheel, and
That's it.
squeaky wheel gets the grease. Yeah.
Anyway, so
Well, we want to really thank Michael Wyman and all the
Claire.
rest of you folks for sitting in on this and listening, singing along, and gosh, we just appreciate it so much. Tim,
Thank you all.
you're
thank
a
you
special
guys.
man, buddy.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you, man. Right on.
You brought our first sing-along.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Really.
You guys did well.
Yeah, so. Gracias, brothers.
Thank you.
I would like to make sure that you post or let everybody know where you're gonna be, because
Okay.
sometimes little towns don't get everything.
Yeah, I'll put it on
Yeah.
Facebook. And
I'm going to be at Willa's actually next Wednesday when he's at the Taos Inn. And then Saturday, we're doing a duo there. And there's a place in Rancho's Old Martinez Hall that's been going to open up again.
Oh, really?
And they've been having a little bit of issues with zoning. But I think they're opening on May 3rd. And Audrey and I will be playing the traditional music there a couple of times a month. I think that gig is on Sundays at 2:30 or 2 o'clock, I guess.
then there's another venue that opened up, which is the Embudo Valley Vineyards.
Oh, yeah?
And it's a really nice place, very cozy inside. And they're going to be opening it up on the outside because they have a really nice patio. And
Cool.
it's right there in Embudo.
And if anyone needs music for an occasion, you can get a hold of us. Mike knows how to get a hold of us. And
If you know of anyone else. And I play a lot of funerals and weddings and stuff. I've been a church musician for as many years as I have. I've played countless funerals. In fact,
Many
one time,
times before I started back with my son in choir, they said, "Do you play in church?" I said, "Only twice. Coming in when they get married, going out the funeral."
so when he mentions playing funerals and stuff like that, we kind of joke, and here's another cliche, jale estable.
Yeah.
You have work forever. Because that gig ain't going away anyway. Steady work. Jale estable.
somebody commented to me one time, and I told him what I did, and he said, "Boy, people are just dying to hear your music."
I have a friend talking about church music. I have a friend, Dino Archuleta. You guys know Dino. He was asked to play at a funeral mass in San Luis, and he was really worried about it. He says, I play at bars and stuff like that, And one of his cousins said, "Mira, all those guys that are going to be in there are the same guys that you play for at the bars. The only difference is they're going to be dressed up in church. That's it." And you start thinking about it. That's it.
That's
all there
true.
is.
That's true.
I have people tell me, if I die, I want you to play for my service. I tell them, what do you mean if? Well, we know what they mean.
And I tell them,
Remind you.
and I tell them, they tell me the same thing, and I tell them, well, if I die, you play for me.
Well, I tell my kids, I said, when I die, I want you to build a funeral pyre up in the mountains, burn me, and sing "Que me lleven canciones cuando ya me haga muerto." That's going to be my song when I die.
Yeah, I think we all have our particular song that.
Yeah.
And mine is El Profeta. I learned that song when I was 15 from Father George Salazar.
Oh, yes.
And it stayed with me all these years. And music is healing. It's very powerful. And it's just something that helps people just ground and come down from whatever anxieties or whatever they're feeling. It can also create anxiety depending on the music. Rap music does that to me. But I think for the most part, musicians are gifted, and we need to acknowledge that because not everybody can do what we do.
When people say, they play, and I go, are you playing anywhere? "Oh, I only play for my..." I says, "You're being given a gift. Share it." And that's what it comes down to. Music is a gift. I know that. People say, "Aren't you afraid to play with anybody?" I said, "No. Everybody's got their style.
That's right.
They got their own style. I got mine. I'm not afraid of anybody because it's me. This is what I like about these guys. They got their own style. Vito was, they were here. The same thing. All the musicians. And yet, when you get together, it's real easy to start doing songs the same.
And the way I see it is my role in playing with others is not to overtake the situation or play louder or whatever. It's to enhance whatever somebody else is doing.
Yeah.
And be able to,
We had at Rael's one night, this couple come in. They even asked permission. I go, what? But they were traveling. They toured the world doing music. And I think he's from Peñasco originally. But he played the Spanish guitar incredible. And she had a voice, and the harmonies were amazing. So I says, how do I pay them back for coming and giving us this gift? So I started doing the old Mexican stuff that I do. And he was, can I have those words? Because they had forgotten their roots because they're doing something to make a living. And they're not doing the old stuff. And also there, he says, I'm going to have to start reviving those. Says, you'll never go wrong with those, ever.
right.
Those arbolitos.
Yeah.
El Profeta, really, because that goes back
Yeah.
50, 60 years.
In fact,
or
I
more.
looked it up online. I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So,
It- like I do Las Mañanitas. That was written in 1869 in Cuernavaca, Mexico. That's how long that's been going on. And it's still one of the best songs you can.
in fact, the wedding march, the Marcha de los Novios,
Yeah,
that dates back to the days of El Cid,
yeah,
1500s.
yeah.
And that's the thing.
So, anyway, thank you.
Marcha
guys.
de los Novios is the grand march at a wedding. Still practiced at almost every wedding occasion around the area.
El Marcha de los Novios, el Marcha de los Queques.
La entrega,
La entrega.
Marcha del Queque, yeah.
So thank you guys. Any questions, anybody? No? All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have listened to the stories. Vayan y digan a todos que vengan a escuchar las historias de nuestro país.